Reiterate.
All right, well, we're streaming. So,
Hey.
Are we live?
yeah, we're live. Right?
Are we live?
Yeah,
Thanks for that, Gino.
He told
He
us
did,
multiple
but
times.
we were all.
I gotcha.
We were
I
all in
gotcha.
other
Welcome
places.
to All Leads Suck, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Leads Suck podcast, where we're going to go in on lead generation, all things real estate. And guys, we're coming to you every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Today, we're a little late because we're waiting on G. He arrived early, but it didn't help. Right, G?
He arrived early, but we arrived late.
Yeah.
Guys, so we have Gonzalo Corzo. You guys may know him, you guys may not, but Gonzalo Corzo is a beast and has been for years, former and current business partner of mine. And we're really going to go in on this one, right? So Gonzalo, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
So my name is Gonzalo Corzo here in Jacksonville, Florida. Been in the real estate game since 2015. Pretty much here in Jacksonville. And through my real estate career, I've done wholesaling, now focusing a little bit more on flipping. Most of my business right now, what it looks like is just working my network. So I'm working with wholesalers, realtors, other investors, and either wholesaling with these people or buying houses and flipping them. So
Nice.
that's what my career looks like right now. Done a ton of wholesaling with Dom, and yeah.
What do you mean buying with people? What does that mean?
So like when I flip houses,
Mm-hmm.
so like I'll buy, like I don't do the flips myself. Like I'll partner up with
He's a smart
flippers.
man.
Yep. So I'll partner up with flippers, and I'll do a little bit of them myself, but not.
Like you paint the closet doors?
No. We never paint the closet doors in our flips. No, we never do that. No. Meaning like I'll manage, like I'll take care of finding the money, finding the crews, managing the project,
Right.
complete from beginning to end. So I'll do a lot of JV flips, where I'll either get like 50% to a third of the cut. And the flipper partner will pull up the money, put up the money, and manage the rehab. And my job is to find the deal.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I
Hell
like
yeah.
that.
So that's been pretty cool. And it's nothing crazy, like the beautiful thing about this is that it works in a low volume environment, right? And I don't think it would make sense to do in high volume either, right? As far as like the risk and the spreads and all that. So it kind of only works with me and a small team. Um, yeah, it's kind of hard. Like with wholesaling, there's a lot of there's no expense to the actual house. It's just marketing and team, you
Right.
know? With flipping, you don't really need a team. All the expenses are in the house and hard money payments and the contractors and your realtor. So kind of allows for not really needing staff on the flipping side. Um, so yeah. So that's been where I'm
we
at.
had we had talked about this a little bit earlier, but you said that it's kind of giving you the availability to spend more time with your family, which is something that was really important to you, right?
Yeah. So like the-
Overrated.
I'm capping that.
Kidding, Marisol.
No, the biggest I would say the biggest thing for me is like, and we were just talking about it, right? It's like I have the whole what they call Irish twins, right? The 2 under 2.
Yep.
And so I have two babies, the 13 months apart,
Okay.
and one is about to be a year and 6 months, and the other is 2 months.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of my decisions now are just being forced to like, I just got to take my kid with me. Like the other day I was doing we sold a house on the retail side, right? We flipped it, and then there was repairs that still had to be done. And we didn't finish them in time, but the
Right.
buyer still wanted to close. So we agreed to an escrow holdback. And so I had to go let in the contractor, and I had to have my kid with me.
Yeah.
So I was like going, so like now I've been doing that a little bit more, going to networking events with my son, right? Stuff like that. So
Nice.
a lot of it is still working, but now I have just
You got
the
an
kids are in the
assistant.
back. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got an
Maybe on the
unpaid
job
assistant.
site.
Yeah.
Do you have him hold tools and stuff?
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy.
Razor blades?
He he's like, I don't know if it's because I'm like Hispanic, you know, but like
Probably.
he's just knows more about construction than I do, and he's a year and 2 months. You know, he's like he just knows that this hammer's meant to bang stuff, and he knows that a screwdriver is meant to screw things. Dude, I have a video of him like screwdriving stuff, and he's not even a year and 6 months. He's
Wow.
like screwing things in. It's
One day
crazy.
you're gonna walk in and he's patching drywall.
Correct. And I was like, is this just because I'm Hispanic? Like, how does this happen? It's like now I'm realizing my natural roots. Yeah.
So partnering and leveraging is awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm curious, what about on the reverse side? What if someone brought you a deal and they want to just stay in and learn the process, or just kind of like maybe they can make more money if they stayed in the deal rather than they sold it to you?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. How does that look for anyone that might be interested?
Same thing. I mean, we based on the spread or the situation, would either negotiate some sort of a third up to a half of the deal,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put up the money, and same thing, I'd be the flipper.
Did you say up to a house?
Up to half? Yeah. It just depends on the spread, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to split a deal if we're splitting
10K.
20K, you know, but
Yeah.
like there's deals where like if it's a 60K flip and the only way I'm going to get it is if I give you 50%, then I want to make the 30K, you
Right.
know? So the way that I look at it is more of like, cause I'm also going to offer to buy them out also, you know, cause a
Right.
lot of times like they'll just come to us and they'll be like, hey, I got this. I'd love to stay in it with you. But most of the time we're just like, why don't I just pay you X right now? And you know, that kind of works out for everyone.
So everybody wants
Yeah,
to know
fast cash.
how do you find the deals? How does Gonzalo find deals?
Right now, dude, I mean, I'm just working my sphere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't
So you
I
open your phone book and just call everybody from A to Z?
correct. And I mean, luckily I'm in a position where I can do this, right? Like I'm blessed to have been in the game for a long time,
Right.
and my entire career of real estate was matched with networking and just always going to events and being part of groups and like that's just always how I've been, luckily. And 2022 and 2023, when the market kind of shifted on me, and I just got very, very scared of spending money.
Right.
I didn't want to, I like, you know, you come out of like, dang, I just spent a lot of money building all this and all these marketing costs and everything. And just like, now that this is all I have, I want to be super frugal and I
Yeah.
do not want to spend anything. And so for the first couple months, it was like, how do I do this without spending money on marketing? And that's when I had to tap into my network. And luckily, I mean, you know, we had a JV department for like 2 years, right? And so we had been doing that. Um, and uh, and so it's just working my network, wholesalers, realtors. Now that I'm flipping, like as a wholesaler, I never really leverage realtors too much, right? But now that I can take them down, I feel better about going to realtors on the market or off market and be like, hey, I just need to walk and I can take it down. So a decent amount, like realtors.
Do you call
Realtors
the
are great.
MLS realtors or just like people
No,
in the
no.
sphere?
Yeah, it's just more of like realtors are now kind of wholesaling, right? Like they'll get like before they'll put up a fixer upper on the MLS, they know to like hit up a couple investors. And so we just either had to jump quick on like the
Pocket listings.
correct pocket listings.
Yeah.
It's tough because they're competitive, right?
Right.
But it's been like right now I'm pick and choosing my battles. Do I want to figure out spending money in marketing and doing it that way, or do I just leverage my network? And so I always tell people, right, because like it is very like I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I've been networking for 10 years, right?
Right.
So I don't think anybody can just go and be like, "Oh, I'm going to go, you know, just find deals for my network." It's like, dude, I have 10 years worth of contacts and hundreds of JV deals
How many
to
contacts per
leverage.
year is that?
It's a lot of contacts.
10 years of contacts.
So yeah, so like
You just do a couple revolutions through the contacts.
so that's been how I've been sourcing my deals right now. Not a lot of some seller direct, but more of it is just because of like branding that we
Right.
have, right? So
Right.
like every once in a while, we'll have like a seller just input their information on our website. Um we haven't been really successful with getting them.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the people that put that are like wholesalers or an investor who, you know what I mean? They're like, hey, I own this. Like, so it's not really like a seller,
Yeah.
but it becomes a seller direct because they're an investor that I know, and they're just like, hey, list this house for me,
Right.
or sell this house for me.
From the
That's-
deals that you were getting from wholesalers and agents, what's the most amount of money you've made on one flip so
On a
far?
flip so far, I think our best deal so far closed that has actually closed. I think we made 53.
Is that net?
Is that net or that's gross?
Sam is a
That's
big
net.
net
That's
guy.
net. Yeah, net. Yep.
Hell
And that's
yeah.
your take
Yeah.
or all take?
No, all take. Yeah.
How much did you have to spend on that house?
So we bought it for 70 and we put in 130. It was a fire damage house.
Oh.
Mm.
So it was borderline tear down.
Did you have to go through like a shit show of permitting?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest. I mean,
Red flag.
that's when I realized I needed to partner up with flippers.
You know,
When I
this is
started flipping on my own. I was like,
Yeah.
like
sucks.
Buy firehouses? Oh, shit, I don't buy firehouses.
Do I really buy firehouses? Yeah. One thing that's super interesting is going through all of those steps. Would you have
Yes.
bought that? Well, two-part question. First part is, would you have bought that without a flipper partner?
Absolutely not.
Second part is, were you afraid through that process that you guys weren't going to make money?
So luckily, so basically, um, I I feel the confidence when my flippers feel confident, right? And
Okay.
so you can just tell when when I'm selling or pitching the deal to the partner, right? Like they'll tell me, like I can feel it. They'll be like, "Oh, jump on that. I want it. Buy it ASAP." Or, "Hey, I don't really want that. Can you try to get it for a little bit cheaper or whatever?" Right? So the fear of not making money wasn't really there because we thought we were going to make 80. We're going to make
Mhm.
50. So on an 80K deal, I feel a lot way better of like the risk of
Course.
not making money is there. On a 30K deal, I'm tripping, you know, because like, oh, I mean, we had that, right? A
Okay.
33K deal turned into a 22K deal, right?
Yeah.
How,
And
where
I'm
did
about to sell a house right now where we close on it. We sold it. Thank God. But I think it was a 28K deal turned into a 2K deal.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
at least that's not a negative 2K deal.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
Yeah, but
You are
might as well
blessed, my
be at
friend.
that point.
Dude, I was on the phone not yesterday, day before.
I mean,
with
I
a
have a deal that I'm about to list, and I'm gonna take a
A
probably a
loss.
12K haircut if
Yeah.
it
Hell
if
yeah.
it sells at list price.
Now
Oh,
you've grown,
shit.
bro.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
grown now.
Now
So,
you've made it.
yeah.
Exactly.
A guy we all know, I won't mention names. It's not really a bad story, but flipper dude who has 6 houses on the market, and then one finally got locked up that he's going to sell. Well, it's got to close,
Yep.
and the other are just sitting.
Yeah.
It's that kind of market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long has the longest house sat on the market for you?
I would say right now we have the one that I'm gonna take a haircut on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one because I would say it's probably been up for a month. Yeah. So luckily we've been pretty aggressive.
Oh,
This
it's
one,
sitting. It's listed just sitting on the market.
correct. Yeah. And the reason why I know like I was talking to Lise and I was telling him that like we're pretty aggressive on our ARVs when we list. We don't want to be sitting. This one turned into a loss,
Right.
and we did the opposite of what I always do, which is I knew I needed to list it at 295. That was my ARV, but the rehab went over and blah 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 blah.
And you list for
So
more.
let me try to list it for more,
Yeah.
and it's just been sitting. So now we're back to under 295,
Yeah.
right? And so that's I feel like all of our flips are great. Like none of our flips have been sitting really.
Yeah.
It's been
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Luckily, um, they haven't. I feel like we do undershoot a little bit on the ARV sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you could justify a 300, but we'll list for 289,
Right.
right? And so I feel like that's been pretty aligned with our flip partners on that it's just about a turn and burn.
Right.
So that also has to we've realized that with partnering up with because when you partner up with different flippers do different things, different styles, different,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like some flippers are like, hey, this is the list price, and we're gonna get the list price, and if it sits for 6 months,
Then we're
we're
gonna
just
wait
gonna.
6
I mean, we
months.
baked in a 6 month hold time, so why don't we wait the 6 months,
Right.
right?
Mm.
And then it's like, well, we could just take a smaller pay now, right? And so everybody just thinks different, and so that's okay, right? You just kind of figure out like what partners work better for each deal, and another thing that we've realized is that not every flipper wants to flip every house,
Right.
and not every flipper can take on 50 flips, right? And so nor does anybody really want to, right?
Right.
And so we're realizing that like, oh, this deal might be better to partner up with this kind of flipper, right? And this deal might be better to partner. Now we obviously have our go-to partner,
Right.
right? And then if they kind of don't want it, there's like, cool, no, let's figure it out. Or sometimes it's not even worth figuring out if they don't want it.
These people you're calling flippers, they're just contractors, right?
No, they're flippers.
They're
Yep,
flippers.
yep. So I've been selling these guys houses for years.
Mm.
Yep, yep, yeah.
Okay.
So it's just been more of like, you guys have an inventory problem. I don't know what to do anything after I buy the house problem. So why don't we JV on flips?
And
Yeah.
how many are you guys taking down right now a month?
So we've been taking down about 7, 8 a month.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're
Yeah.
turning them every what, 90 days, 120?
90 days,
Yeah.
120 days. Yeah. Yeah. They've been pretty good. Flipper partners have been phenomenal.
Right.
They've just been amazing, excellent. Uh, so yeah,
So you could have anywhere from like 15 to 20 at one time going.
yes. But I mean, I say
Not
me,
you.
but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
really not me.
Right.
But that's not really where we're at. Because I also like I leverage the wholesale side, right? Because
Right.
I still have a wholesale side, and believe it or not, most deals don't work for me to flip, right? Like
Yeah.
there's always like um I know a guy that will pay this number, and I'm gonna be 30 grand less, so why don't I just get you this number and we'll figure out some JV cut.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty good. Um,
Is it easier to wholesale or to flip houses?
It's a good question. I think that if you flip the way that I flip, it's easier to flip houses. However, the money, like, you make uh if you're just getting a third, which is typically what I mostly get. I get more if it's like a crazy flip deal, and those are
Right.
hard to find, right?
Right.
So I typically just get a third, and so like, on a 30K deal, you're getting a third. Um, so sometimes like, oh well, I could have just wholesaled that and made a quick 10 also,
Mm-hmm.
So there is some of that that's been going down. I would say that flipping has been a little bit easier, um, but only if I flip with partners. Yeah, like the flips that I do on my own, I hate those. I still have those going on.
Yeah.
Like I have flips that with my partners we've bought, flipped, and sold, and I have houses that I bought months before we even bought these houses, and I'm still not done with them.
Yeah. Same, and I
And
have one of
so
those right now.
yeah, so like I'm just not a good flipper, not a good managing projects, guys, and not even managing the project, but it's more of like,
You probably don't have the time to manage it.
well, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what should be done, what shouldn't be done.
The process.
It's very easy if it's a full flip, right? If it's a full gut, that's very easy. Cool, we're gonna do everything. The hardest part is like,
What do you keep?
correct. What do you keep? What can we get by with on the retail side? Because things pop up once you start the actual rehab, right?
Right.
And I have very little knowledge of what can you get by with on the exit,
Right.
right? Wholesaling, once like I feel like what made us so powerful as big wholesalers was dispo, right?
Right.
And knowing all the exit strategies that we can do, and knowing, cool, this deal is weird. Well, we have a exit strategy for a tenant occupied house. We have a strategy for a rolling fines house that has, $1 million worth of liens on it. We have a strategy for that. So on the retail side, something that I didn't realize was also a thing is understanding your strategies on what to do when, like, cool, the roof It's a 12-year-old roof. Do you do the roof or do you not? Right.
Right.
And so, like, knowing how to navigate that on the retail side, something that I've never experienced. And that's where the flipper partners add a lot of value
Right.
is, hey, when we go to list this, we're going to have to redo this because we can't sell it with that. Or we don't have to do this. Let's just get a letter from an AC guy and service it, and the AC's good.
Mhm.
Right. And so, like, little things like that, that you don't know until you've gone through a bunch of flips and exited a bunch of flips.
Now, as far as getting inventory, one thing that comes to mind for me is I think one thing we've done good with in the JV department is one example is just being proactive, reaching out, checking in with people, coaching people through things. Are you finding yourself doing strategies kind of like that? Like, do you see like when you're not reaching out to anyone, the funnel starts to die down or the opportunities start to fade away?
Yes and no. I would say that it's definitely uh once you're buying and you're able to buy, the game kind of changes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have it becomes a little bit easier to get repeat business, right? So like the benefit of being a buyer is you actually buy, right? And so like even somebody who I do JV deals with, they're still going to shop it to even 3 buyers. Even if they only have 3 buyers, they're still going to shop it to
Yeah.
those 3 buyers before they JV with me.
Right.
And so once you close, you become one of those 3 buyers. And so that's kind of been a benefit of that.
Sure.
But in order to capitalize on that, you have to be able to buy every time they call.
You got to
Because
keep buying.
correct. And so
Otherwise, they
that's
stop bringing deals.
exactly. And so that's the double-edged sword because we're like like we're running into the point where it's like this deal makes sense, but it's a 28K deal. When you have no K deals, you buy a 28K deal. When you have 11 flips going on, you're like, I'll buy it, but I don't really need it, so I'll buy it at X, you know? And then you start to
It's funny
lose.
because now you see and understand when a flipper buyer gives you that answer, like it's a good deal. Why would you not buy it? I don't really need it right now. Call me
Correct.
next week. Call
Correct.
me in a month.
Yes.
So now you're
Yes.
seeing that side
But
of
then
it.
Exactly.
they shoot themselves in the foot because now you're
Exactly.
gonna stop sending them as many
Correct.
Correct.
deals.
Correct. So that is what we notice when we get the deal and we can't buy it. That's when we notice they might not call us on the next one, and so we have to be a little bit more proactive.
Mm.
Um, or sometimes just wholesalers are just not always. Uh, they're like we're like squirrels, right? So whoever we just talked to about a deal, like I could have just sold a 50K wholesale deal to this VIP buyer, and I go to a networking event and I just get a seller to sign a contract on my phone. And at that networking event, I meet a guy who's like, "Yeah, I want to buy houses in the hood." He's gonna get that deal first right now just because I'm right here,
Standing there,
you
yeah.
know. And so like another thing, kind of um, to add to your argument or to give validity to your argument is that we do see is the attention span of wholesalers is they're like as soon as they talk to another buyer, it doesn't matter. You can close 5 and they still are just going to call somebody who they just talked to,
Whoever's top of mind.
whoever's top of mind.
Yeah.
And so like you could have went under contract today, but tomorrow they have a closing with another buyer, you know? So you go under contract today and you're just like, yo, keep them coming. I can buy 10 of these a month. And then they actually close on another house with their other buyer and their buyer's like, yo, send me another one. I need another one. And so because I got them a day late, the other buyer gets it first.
Sounds like dating.
Oh, dude, it is dating. It is dating. And so we're trying to figure out how to wine and dine these wholesalers, you know? No, I'm kidding.
Mm.
So you guys get a lot of deals in your email right now?
A lot of deals in our
How many of those emails are actual deals? Let's say there's 1,000 emails that came through. How many are actual
Oh,
deals?
Gonzalo's like, I
maybe
can't offend my wholesalers with a negative
maybe.
I'm
statement.
putting him on the spot.
Well, no, Joe, you can. I mean, I would say that if I look at deals, let's say I probably look at like 20, 15 to 20 a day.
Okay.
Um,
You analyze every one that comes around?
analyze, yep. Because what we notice is you have to analyze the deals right now. You have to analyze everything. There's things that like uh it's a quick analysis, right? But like sometimes I'm shocked by what I see. Like I'll get a house and an address and a zip code, and I'm just like, that's not worth my time. Then you dig in, and you're just like, oh, this is kind of worth my time, right? And it's not that it's what I'm realizing is that not every like most deals are not, hey, my asking price is 50. Oh, 50K works. Awesome. Like,
Right.
deals are not like that,
Yeah.
right? Most deals are they're asking 70, they have it for 60. I'm the only guy who actually went, analyzed it, put in an
And
offer. My max is 50. They renegotiated it, they got it down to 45, they sell it to me at 50, they made 5 grand, right? And
right.
so it's like a lot of deals happen like that because I'm willing to take the time to actually analyze it, put in
Give
the
them an
work,
offer.
give them an offer, and give them something, right?
You know, it's funny you say that because we just closed on a deal today that we all looked at and not really analyzed. We more so just onced over it and kind of went, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And it was pushed on us for like another 2 weeks. And Sam ended up analyzing it again, going through it. And he's like, this is a beautiful deal. But because we just looked at it first sight, it was like, yeah, get this out of here. You know, we don't have the time for it.
Correct.
But it ended up, you know, being what, 30 grand on the table right there? 40 grand?
Well, plus a check, so it's like
Yeah.
very close to 60.
Yeah. So almost
Like 58.
$60,000
Yeah.
on an assignment fee essentially. And we passed up this opportunity and made them wait 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks is a long time too to wait.
initially,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's like life.
initially all buyers were underneath the asking price.
Oh yeah.
It did get renegotiated.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then, but Sam also had a magic buyer as
Yeah.
well, with credit to your dispo process comment earlier. So, do you want to talk about your magic buyer?
He's in Colombia. He's in Colombia with some
So you sold a deal to
Women of the
Colombians?
hour.
Colombians. Huh?
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
He's
awesome.
because the
flying out
closing
like right
almost
after
didn't
the
happen
closing.
too several
Uh-huh.
times.
Yeah, the
Yes.
closing almost didn't happen. That was
Yeah, closing wasn't gonna
eventful.
happen, but we made it happen.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
Dude, what's up with closings almost not happening often?
All the
Oh,
time.
dude, it's ridiculous.
It's
I
always something down to the wire.
Do you see that on the retail side too?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean, these
it,
guys have a lot of retail
yeah.
experience too.
Yeah.
So
It's not that it's very uh on the retail side. It happens more during the initial contract part. I would say on wholesaling it
inspection
happens.
period.
Yeah, on wholesaling it happens more way closer to closing.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
on the retail side it happens in between.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they'll
They
find
get
something
cold
A lot
else.
feet.
closer
Cold
to
feet.
inspection.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so once it's like after the you know there's going to be a repair request. Like you already know they're going to hit you with the repair request. And so after their inspection, you're just hoping that they hit you with the repair request as opposed to backing out.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the repair request?
Absolutely. Because once you do the
Interesting.
repairs,
There's no backing out.
That's
That's like a buying
that's when it
question for a
feels
wholesaler.
that's
right?
when it feels like
Like
there's
they're
almost
in.
no
Yeah.
If they want a repair request, they're in the
Yeah.
house. They will
A
Exactly,
buy.
yeah,
wholesaler
exactly.
just wants more time to find somebody else to daisy chain the deal
Yeah.
to.
Exactly. So
Whereas your retail buyer,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
the
just
retail
looking
buyer,
for that mortgage now.
yes. Yeah, they're well, at that point they've analyzed the house. They've gone through all the bad parts
Yeah.
of the house and they've decided on what bad they're willing to take for what good you're willing to give them. And so once you agree and then they move, you move to that next part,
Yeah.
very rarely do they fall apart
What's
after
the
that.
craziest thing that they've asked you in the repair request?
The craziest thing. I To be honest, I don't know. I
Yeah.
really don't
Because
know.
today we got
Like,
an inspection on a retail property, and in the inspection, there's a fireplace in the house, and the inspection says there are ashes present in the fireplace.
The remnants, the
oh,
remnants of
Remnants of
ashes.
wow. That's
It's just
interesting.
it's a much more emotional process on the retail
Oh,
side
yeah,
than it
yeah.
is on the wholesaler flip side. Just
Oh, do you
because
mean like the most ridiculous?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, there's a lot of ridiculous.
oh yeah,
There's just, I
like
mean, like,
light bulbs and shit, and you're just like,
yes,
dude, what?
yes. It's
You
just
can't
like this,
screw in a light bulb yourself?
this
Come on.
light or this is loose,
Yeah.
right? It's always plate covers are loose. That's always
Always.
like the dumbest thing. It's like, why would you even put plate covers are loose? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, cool. So you just tighten it. That's it.
You sound
right?
like a frustrated flipper.
Yes, yes. But no, but I love when you get that repair request, cool, these guys are in, and now it's just a matter of like making them happy.
Yep, they're emotionally
That's one of the
invested.
things that I'm hearing from all my flipper partners that's different than before is repair requests, seller concessions. you know.
Repair requests, good.
Yeah. Yes. Before it was they didn't happen. You
Yeah,
didn't need them. There
yeah,
wasn't buyers asking
Yeah,
for
they
stuff.
were very
You know what I mean? Because
motivated
now
buyers
almost
before.
every offer, almost every single offer is, hey, here's an offer either close to ask or at ask, but they want
closing costs.
3%.
Yeah,
Going towards closing costs. So that's been interesting. Is getting creative with that.
right.
Um,
Are you seeing a lot of sellers getting into, I mean, buyers getting into homes with putting very little cash down because of the
yes,
way the deal's structured?
yes, yeah.
What percentage would you say is like that from your point
Almost
of
all
view?
of them.
Yeah.
Well, basically the reason is because they all like. I don't think there's been any house that we haven't done
Concession.
a concession, and
Yeah.
they need that to cover closing costs, to do
Yep.
this and to do that.
Yep.
So almost every house, it's either. Luckily, the hack is go over ask, right? So if our listing is at 200
Right.
and they need 10K, we'll be like, hey, if you go up higher, whatever you're approved to, we'll give you all of that.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
we'll kind of start negotiations as that.
Yeah.
We offer them more concession as long as it's legal.